प्रसीद प्रसीद मातः जगतोऽखिलस्य प्रसीद विश्वेश्वरि पाहि विश्वं त्वमीश्वरी देवी चराचरस्य त्वं वैष्णवी शक्तिरनन्तवीर्या विश्वस्य बीजं परमासि माया सम्मोहितं देवि समस्तमेतत् त्वं वै प्रसन्ना भुवि मुक्तिहेतुः सिंहस्था शशिशेखरामरकत प्रख्यैश्चतुर्भिर्भुजैः शङ्खं चक्रधनुः शरश्च ददति नेत्रैस्त्रिभिः शोभिता काञ्चीरणन्नूपुरा दुर्गातिहारिणी भवतु नो रत्नोलसत्कुण्डला घण्टाशूलहलानि शङ्खमुसले चक्रं धनुः सायकम् हस्ताब्जैर्दधतीं धनान्तविलसच्छीतांशुतुल्यप्रभाम् गौरीदेहसमुद्भवां त्रिजगता माधारभूतां पूर्वामत्र सरस्वतीमन्मजे शुम्भादिदैत्यादिनी कल्हारोत्पलनागकेसरसरोजाख्यावलि मालती मल्लिकैरवकेतकादिकुसुमैरक्ताश्वमारादिभिः पुष्पैर्माल्यभरेण वै सुरभिना नानारसस्रोतसा ताम्राम्भोजनिवासिनीं भगवतीं श्रीचन्द्रिकां पूजये विद्युत्तामसमप्रभां विगुपति स्कन्धस्थितां भीषणाम् कन्याभिः करवालकेटविलसद्धस्ताभिरासेविताम् हस्तैश्चक्रगदासिकेटविशिखाश्चापं गुणं तर्जनीं बिभ्राणामनलात्मिकां शशिधरां दुर्गां त्रिनेत्रां भजे दुर्गां त्रिनेत्रां भजे दुर्गां त्रिनेत्रां भजे
Om Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Sri Matre Namaha. We continue with the importance of this Navaratri and the Devi Mahatmyam. The whole of Navaratri is such a beautiful festival filled with rituals, pujas, dance, music, drama, filled with so much of love and devotion, so much of joy and bliss, so much of longing for Mother. What a glorious way of bringing a transformation in an individual. in such a melodious, musical and devotional way. What a great transformation can happen with the dhyana samadhis, experiencing the subtler aspects of Devi, and finally realizing this infinite mother as yourself. Jagadamba or Durgamba is infinitely infinite, infinitely infinite. And so how can one describe which is infinite, and how can one even describe infinitely infinite? She is infinite in her beauty, in her power, in her compassion, in her love, in her giving, and in her desire to help us with our evolution. As children, we were told that Jagannatha is everything. This mother is everything that there is, that she will guide us, she will protect us, and she will love us, that she is the source of our strength and courage, that she is the source of our knowledge, and she is the source of the prosperity and abundance within us. And we were taught to solely depend on her, to pray to her, and to communicate with her about our immediate needs and also about the ultimate goal. We couldn't wait for Dasara holidays to come when we were in school, and then go to our native village and celebrate the whole of the Navaratri in my grandparents' home. The whole family used to come together from different parts, everyone used to gather. Many people in the village, so many families came together, and there was celebration done on such a huge scale, and everyone participated, from children to the older people. So much of joy, it is indescribable. So much of pujas and stotras and singing, so much food and fruit, so many heaps and baskets of flowers and garlands, so much of incense and aroma, decorations everywhere, laughter and laughter everywhere. The whole air is filled with devotion. So much devotion, all that there is you and Mother itself. Along with all this, there is the private sadhana going on with japa, with the dhyana meditation, and few practicing the dhyana samadhis. So there were the group participations, and then there was the individual sadhanas, because people would get up at the Brahmi Muhurta at 3 a.m. in the morning and would start their individual practices. And the family and community pujas would start around 8 a.m. or so. I don't know if there is another festival where a personal transformation can be brought about and such a rapid evolution can happen in 9 days as it is of Navaratri. If one is fully participating with the individual sadhana and also what is happening in the community or in the family, then this is the most enchanting, most beautiful and most musical festival that there is. The important thing to understand here is that whatever is the occasion for this religious performance and the spiritual congregation, it has far-reaching effects than just what you see on the outside. Its most significance is to transcend these outer rituals and to experience the self. Devi Mahatmyam is also the song of the soul, just as Bhagavad Gita is also the song of the soul. Here, Paramatma is speaking to the Jiva. Here, Paramatma in Bhagavad Gita is Krishna, and here in Devi Mahatmyam it is Devi herself, Parameshwari, the Transcendental Devi. Just like in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna and Arjuna Samvada, it is the conversation between God and the devotee. And here also in Devi Mahatmyam, you come face to face with Devi, who is the creator. Devi, who is the mother of the universe. Devi, who is the seed, Sarva Bija, who is the seed of all. You, who is localized, come face to face with the omnipresent, who is all-pervading, the mother. You, who is limited, come face to face with the limitless, the divine mother. You, who is in boundaries, come to the unbounded, who is the enchanting mother. You, who are the limited joys, come face to face with the infinite bliss that is this grand mother, grandiose of the mother. In this Devi Mahatmyam, the seeker comes face to face with the infinite mother. She is referred to as the Adi Shakti, the primordial energy who is inherent and who is Shiva's nature. This Adi Shakti is omnipresent and all-pervading and extends in all and contains all. She is the one who has given birth to the gods and goddesses. That means they have appeared from her. She remaining as the Adi Shakti, they have appeared from her. And Adi Shakti is not independent of Shiva, the pure consciousness, the absolute pure consciousness. Her source is Shiva. So this Shiva and Adi Shakti are inseparable. But here it is important to understand that Adi Shakti is the Bija. She is the seed of the creation, who is the inherent nature of the Paramashiva, the transcendental self. Now in Bhagavad Gita, in the Sankhya Yoga, we have seen that Paramatma is the transcendental eternal self, and within him is the absolute and the relative fields of existence. So here in the Sankhya Yoga, we understand it as absolute and relative, as unmanifest and manifest, as the non-changing absolute and the ever-changing relative, and the ever-changing relative having the different states of consciousness and the ability to rise from the normal waking, dreaming, sleeping states, which are the lower states of consciousness, to the higher states of consciousness, which are the cosmic God and the unity consciousness. So in the Sankhya Yoga, we have not heard about the names of the gods. It sounds very abstract, except for somebody who is transcending and who is growing in consciousness. It sounds very esoteric or mystical. But here in Devi Mahatmyam, we come all this knowledge, all this beautiful knowledge transformed into the ocean of devotion. Here is something where all the devotees can relate to and can be bound to its own mother, Jagadamba. Here, Shiva, Paramashiva, is the absolute pure consciousness, which is referred as Paramatma. In Paramashiva, who is the absolute pure consciousness, is Parashakti, who is also transcendental and absolute at this point, but it is the inherent Shakti within him. Shakti is referred to as power, and Parashakti is also referred to as Adi Shakti or primordial energy. The word energy is a small word compared to Shakti. It is this divine mother, the Parashakti, who created and manifested as the universe. All the gods and goddesses are her manifestations. All of the creation has emanated from her. She is the Parashakti of the Paramashiva. This Adi Shakti or Parashakti, who is the nature, the very inherent nature of Paramashiva, has no independent existence. Shiva is her source as the pure absolute consciousness. This Adi Shakti is the very nature of Paramashiva, the being, and she is the cosmic intelligence, and she is the cosmic creative power of all that there is. The prana generates out of itself and it shoots forth from the fountainhead of this innate nature, which is also unmanifest at this time. Here, the absolute being assumes the role of prana, and this is how the Adi Shakti starts the process of creation and evolution. The being vibrates by virtue of prana and manifests. So here, Adi Shakti vibrates by virtue of prana and begins manifestation. And assuming a subjective nature, Adi Shakti becomes mind, and assuming an objective nature, Adi Shakti becomes matter. It remains innocent, Adi Shakti remains innocent and serves as a link between the subject and object and continues creating the subject-object relationship and making it possible to start the multiple creation for the one eternal being, from one eternal divine being. So here again, the creativity lies in the nature of the Paramashiva, which as Adi Shakti, which is the nature. And the nature of Adi Shakti is its play and its evolution for all that is created. The being remains being and the creation comes to be. So Adi Shakti remains as Adi Shakti and all of the creation comes forth from her in myriad forms. And the evolution is its expansion of the consciousness, expansion of this beingness. So again, helps continuing with this process of evolution and creation. And we understand that helping this process of evolution is allowing the birth of the individual again and again, so that one goes through the process of transformation and the final evolution to be the self alone. Here we understand that the seed of the individual life is nothing but the expression of the unmanifested being in the most highly evolved state of manifestation. So who is the seed of this life, individual life? It is Devi itself. She is known as Sarva Bija. And we further understand that this individual seed of life is the unfulfilled karma of the past life of man. We also understand that the sum total of all the unfulfilled desires of the previous lives is the seed of the individual, and it is which that molds this vibrating being into a specific life stream. And this specific life stream is the life of the individual. So the prana, in conjunction with the desire, forms the mind, and further, without the mind, without the help of the mind, it forms the matter, and the matter comes into being with the five senses of perception, and they find their expression to justify the validity of their creation and act as the agents of the mind. And further, the process of formation of the nervous system and the body happens. And we have also understood that the wheel of karma keeps on creating, evolving and dissolving the phenomenal creation in cycles of existence and non-existence of the cosmos as a whole, and the individual finds his share in it as a part of it. And it is by the virtue of these finest impressions of the karma then on the mind, the future seeds manifest as future births. Here, Adishakti, by virtue of its own nature, begins the process of creation, evolution and dissolution, and it continues eternally and without affecting the absolute status of the eternal being. So Shiva remains as the absolute being, and within him Adishakti also remains as Adishakti and brings about the whole creation. But the source of Adishakti is Shiva again. So the cause of creation or the almighty creativity is latent in the very nature of the being who is Adishakti. And she expresses herself in the form of creation, she appearing as the many forms and she remaining herself as Adishakti. This omnipresent nature of Adishakti does not allow karma to be given an independent status as the ultimate. The individual karma and the cosmic karma find its source in Adishakti. Here, Adishakti becomes the instrumentality of the individual karma and the cosmic karma. It is through her that every being continues with rebirth and evolution, and she becomes the instrumentality for all the seeds. Ultimately, we understand that all of creation is vibrations alone. All of the matter is vibrations alone. And this Adishakti is forever vibrating to bring about the creation. and the sustenance and the dissolution. I always think about it as her Ananda Tandava, her Leela Tandava, her Leela Shakti, and how magnificently she does it with so much love, so much compassion, and so much abundance in her heart. She is the Bala Leela Vinodini. She creates and she enjoys utmost all her creation. She wants the best for her children and she wants everyone to rise to her status. She is the ocean of bliss and bliss is her nature. She is the Ananda Tandava in Shiva. She is the Ananta Prema, the infinite love in Shiva. So this inseparable Shiva and Shakti become the Shiva and Shakti in every part of the creation, in every being. Shiva as the absolute pure consciousness and Shakti as the nature and the energy. She takes the myriad forms. For example, she becomes the Vishnu's Shakti, she becomes the Brahma's Shakti, and she is the Shakti within us who expresses within us as the Icha Shakti, Kriya Shakti and Gnana Shakti. Icha Shakti, the power to desire, Kriya Shakti, the power to perform actions, and Gnana Shakti, the power for attaining knowledge, higher knowledge, and gaining evolution and liberation. So here we understand with the Devi Mahatmyam, then something which seemed so abstract, so esoteric, and so mystical will not be abstract anymore. It seems very real because Mother is real. Mother Shiva and Shakti are real. And Mother is real. She is so available to all of us and so ever ready to fulfill our desires and so ever ready to help us with our evolution and so ever ready to fill our hearts with bliss and liberate us. But how do we know Devi? We know her only through transcendence, by going within ourselves. In her great compassion, she expressed herself as the great beauty and grandeur of the whole of nature and of all the kalas, the 64 kalas that she brought out. She is embedded in every aspect of this creation. She made sure that we reach to her and we do not forget her. Before I conclude, I want to share one small experience. This happened in the Jyotirlinga temple of Sri Salem, the Mallikarjuna and Brahmaramba. Mallikarjuna is the Paramashiva here and Brahmaramba is the Mother Divine, one of the forms of Adishakti. I entered the temple just when the Aarati was about to begin. Since the crowds are many and the lines are long, then you can only have a glimpse of the Paramashiva and you have to move on. So I stepped outside and I sat on this elevated stone platform. We call it Arugu in Telugu language. I wanted to sit there till the whole Aarati finished. I remained with my eyes closed and I immediately went into Samadhi. But I did not want to go all the way into Nirvikalpa, and so I let my senses hear some of the chantings that were going on with the Arati. All of the crowds, all of the people and everything there completely dissolved. And I was there face to face with Shiva, giving him the Arati. And Shiva was there, and I am the devotee, and I am giving the Arati to Shiva. Such heightened bliss and such great devotion. The heart is so full, there is no room for discontentment. There is no room for any other desire. All that there is Shiva alone. Nothing else existed around me and nothing else mattered. Then there wasn't me and Shiva. All that there was Shiva alone. The ocean of bliss. This is Shiva, Shivananda. And this Shiva in his Ananda is doing the Ananda Tandava. And this Ananda Tandava is going on. He is able to move in the 14 worlds. Like a lightning, full of light and full of bliss. The Ananda Tandava is going on in the 14 worlds. Shiva in his infinite blissful expression is doing this Ananda Tandava so swiftly and so rapidly, like a lightning in all the worlds. And when this, I don't know how long it took, but when it ended, the temple, everybody was out. The Arati finished, and with Shiva full of bliss in my heart, because I understood and I became the Shiva myself. Because when there is all but Shiva, then you are that Shiva also. So I went to visit Brahmanambika, and Brahmanambika is in her own temple. And the Arati for Brahmanambika has just begun, because the Shiva Arati is first done and then the Devi Arati is done next. And Brahmanambika looked so beautiful, so enchanting, with her eyes so fully awake. And I was so fortunate to have witnessed the whole of the Arati. And again, all that existed was Shiva and Shakti only. In the beginning it was Shiva, and now having visited Shakti, it is Shiva and Shakti together as one Brahman, the absolute and the relative as oneness. I come out and then I look at the world. And what do I see in the world? I see only the play of the Shiva and Shakti. The Shiva and Shakti in every one, in every being, in every grain. All that there is the Shiva and Shakti only. The ocean of bliss together, the ocean of compassion together, this ocean of perfection together, but blessing the whole of creation and helping with each one's evolution. I end here. Jai Gurudev. Om Sri Matre Namaha. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu.